All right. How about we do another episode of the Breckening Podcast? I'm Brian Breckenridge. Today in front of me is Mr. Joe Tacke. Is it Tacke?
Yeah, it is Tacke. Yeah.
You read it.
It looks like it's
And
tack.
you may have said it before. I've always called you Joe. Now I'll never say Joe Tacke. You read it. There's no Y at the end. There's an E.
Not.
And so it's nice to just clarify all that.
The Y is it's not silent. It's invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is extra silent. So you are. I was gonna read off your Facebook bio just because there's many things there. Father, husband, yeah, whatever. Who cares about that?
No.
You have a new baby and all that.
Yeah, she's
Congratulations,
fine.
that's
Thank you,
fine.
yeah.
But she's not here. Who cares? But you're a musician, sound engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do that.
Animator as well.
I do that,
So artist technically, but
Yeah.
animator sounds like you have a skill.
It's
So
sort
we'll
of.
stick with animator amongst many skills. But yeah, I artist, musician,
I think I also have tinkerer.
tinkerer. Yes, which means
You saw that tape machine in my garage that's completely disassembled, and
Oh, okay.
I have no idea how to put it back together.
oh, okay.
So, I tinker.
So you take shit apart like a meth head, but you don't do meth, so you know enough to be like, I can't put this back together. What am I? What am I doing?
Yeah, no, I have a kind of a passing understanding of electronics. I'm better with like mechanical stuff. I know enough electronics to keep a studio running, and that's about it.
Oh, okay.
If I get in real trouble, I got 2 guys I farm work out to.
Oh, that's good. So so you're in How We've Met. We probably met through our friend Ian, who
No,
Well-
I think not. I think we actually met through the Funky Town podcast.
that makes sense because
Yeah.
I went and did that at Jeff's house. Wait,
No, you did it over here at
Was
my
it
house.
here?
I think so.
Okay,
At
like
least
there's a back room.
Yeah, there's a back bedroom over there. That's
Okay.
where my studio was. Where
That's okay. I thought I was at Jeff's house. I guess I didn't know whose house I was at.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, it was my house.
I figure by default, because Jeff's older, I was at his house.
No, we recorded the Funky Town podcast over here for a long
Okay.
time. It just was more convenient. I was helping out doing the sound and stuff, and just, I don't know, like another voice on the podcast.
Okay.
But I had all my, my recording studio. It's a mixing room, really. It's not like a studio, but you could fit about 6 people in there pretty uncomfortably. So we would record most of those there.
Okay, and possibly like a band, and
Yeah.
or in my case, one guy.
Yeah, usually.
Just
I always preferred the one guy. I was way easier
I
to
was
set
really
up.
shocked. You're just like, and now we play a clip of your stand-up, and I was just like, a clip? Where the fuck did you get a clip? I go, oh yeah, I do have a couple of clips on YouTube. I
Yeah.
don't.
I
I
sti-
publish for some dumbass reason.
Still, anytime I see somebody with a spiderweb tattoo on their elbow, I'm like, that dude did meth.
That's the best part of stand-up is seeing the things and like something we all see, and then applying a certain characteristic to that.
I've come very close to like just sending you pictures of random dudes with spiderweb tattoos. But the thing that you don't talk about in that joke is that people with spiderweb tattoos on their elbows almost certainly will kick your ass for taking a picture of them.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you better,
universally.
you better take that flash off and put your phone on silent so they don't hear the click. Otherwise, you got to play it off as, don't even acknowledge them and look at your phone, like you took a screen cap.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they can be either one, and then you can play it off as a screen cap if you don't silent your phone. Because with my job of just hanging out in gas stations a lot and taking a photo of just some weird. I saw like a Kenny Powers looking motherfucker. I'll show you the pictures later on. And I had to send it to Anthony and a couple other people.
That's funny.
Just literally like he had these crazy ass white guy dreadlocks, mustache, glasses, a tank top, which was like a flag, literally an eagle, an American flag. And I couldn't get the best picture, but I got like 3. So someone I could send it to would be like, I'm like, look at this Kenny Powers looking motherfucker.
Without a trace of irony.
Yes.
It's just
But I also made sure, click it off. Flash is usually off.
yeah.
Because if you can play out the noise, but if the flash comes up,
Dude,
someone knows you just took a picture of them, and then you're in an awkward swamp of shit of just kind of like, oh, I didn't mean to, and you have to run, just run.
Just run. Just fail.
Yeah.
Cheese it.
But So yeah, the Funky Town.
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, fast friends after that.
Yeah.
I have a shirt with your face on it.
And then quickly you're like, yeah, and that was still a shock. I literally walk into our show.
Yeah.
And then and you have been one of the rare musicians that, one, like, likes comedy, immediately became friends, and you've listened to me and were able to figure out how comedy and music can be executed on the same show.
Yeah.
So it has to be done correctly, delicately. It's not that hard.
No,
it also needs to be the right band, the right crowd. Because I've been approached by musicians, and a lot of times like, we're playing Joe Bob's Pub for 3 hours. Do you want to come do stand up in the middle of during our break? I go, you mean the break that the crowd gets from you, the musicians? You want me to go up there and somehow miraculously keep their attention, and and go up there and eat shit? And I say that because I've done that before.
Right. Well, you and I have talked about it kind of quite a bit, and I mean, the formula that seems to work. I mean, not to, I don't know, give away our trade secrets, but
it's not a secret. I've talked to other comics that other places, and I'm like, how is it done well for you?
Yeah, having the comic open is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
If it's, I don't know, having a comic, I think, in the middle of one of those kind of grindy gigs where you're just playing 2 hours of fucking other people's music.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the right fit for it either. But
because even the crowd, they might be there to see you. They might be there just because they go there, and you're just like, okay, that's happening, and they could give a shit or be into it. You're fighting that malaise. So at least like a proper show with 3 or 4 bands, and people go to see those bands, and they're excited to watch a performance. You're like, okay, I got their attention, because that's also what you have at a comedy club. Right. People go there for something, and you're not you're not just a live human being jukebox. Yeah. Like at Joe Bob's.
When it's all the other obvious, or erroneously obvious kind of idea would be like, oh, we'll have you do 5 minutes while we're setting up, before we play.
Or do stand up while we're breaking down equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
When the audience goes to smoke a cigarette, go to the bathroom, get new drinks, and kind of disperses for a moment before they come back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would love that punishment.
And
please.
You're literally being upstaged.
Yeah.
Like by the classical definition, there's
somebody and then people moving equipment behind you,
yeah.
Someone setting up like a cymbal, and that literally making some kind of noise. Yeah. And I wish I'm quicker at shooting down musicians that suggest that, and I'm just like, do you see? I know you think you think this is something cool, but do you realize how awful it is for me?
Yeah.
How much are you going to pay me to do?
Because I'm just gonna.
You're not getting paid, so why would you ask me to do this? Or they're getting paid $100 or something, and I'm just like, what? I've only done that a couple of times. One, because I didn't know any better at the time, but also just to have something to do. Yeah. And maybe be like, all right, buy me a couple of drinks, and if you can at least make an announcement, and that's why I usually say no. But like with what we've done, I'm just like, if you can go up there and tell them I'm coming up, and then like y'all get ready to play, I'll come up. And then bring y'all, I'll get done, bring y'all back up. Hey, guess what? It was just like a fun little interlude before.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you tailored your set to the local music thing. Yeah. You weren't necessarily telling jokes that were, you were telling relatable, appropriate to the event jokes, I thought. Yeah. And then, we introduced you so that, that airs, lends a little credibility to, like, hey, you like us, so trust us. This dude's also cool. And then you introduced us. It ties it all back together. We're fucking geniuses. That's really all we had to do is hear each other out and be like, "Oh, that sounds cool. Let's do that." Yeah.
My name's on the flyer, and I'm just like, I feel a part.
I want you to do comedy at the show. Okay, here's how we can make it work. Okay, yeah, we did.
And when it happens, it's great. It shouldn't always be a thing because it's hard to do, but. Music's got its place, comedy's got its place, but when it happens, it's a great goddamn time. Yeah. And that was like a great fucking show. I saw that flyer the other night, and I was like, yeah, it was a good show.
It was.
It's a pretty cool flyer.
Yeah, that was fun.
So Mean Motor Scooter. How'd that come together? That is like kind of.
It's kind of like a well-trodden story or whatever, but basically, kind of the nuts and bolts is. Sammy and Chase, or Jeff, as most of you know him, they had a band called Endless Sky that was kind of like a moody acoustic sort of thing. Jeff played drums. Sammy played acoustic guitar and sang. It was real just kind of angsty, like early 20s kind of music, and it was fun or whatever. Well,
sounds like it should have been a very hard screamo band, especially with that name. But
yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I don't know that
when you said acoustic, I'm just like So they
well, and I think that name comes from a strain of weed.
Oh, okay.
So they got put on the same compilation as I was in a band called Spookeasy in Dallas. We all got put on the same compilation together, and so Jeff came out to like the showcase show for the that compilation, which another band that I'd recorded was on that as well, My Wooden Leg, and so it was kind of, and Hanna-Barbarians were out there too. Anyway, so Jeff came out, and we just kind of became friends and stayed in touch, and then when I left Spookeasy, I was looking for another project, I was trying to fill out my recording calendar, so I hit up Jeff. I was like, hey, is Endless Guy, looking to record? He's like, well, kinda, but we're also looking for a bass player, and so I went and jammed with him, and I liked the tunes, and so that's kind of how it came to be. And then, we were playing with some kind of like old Endless Sky tunes that were cool, but they're not that great. But then Sammy busted out a couple of like what would later become Mean Motor Scooter songs. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we can work with this. And so then that's kind of where it went.
And for anyone listening that's not familiar, Mean Motor Scooter, I would say is like I'm kind of blanking on the. Maybe a little surf punkish,
a little surfy, a little garagey.
Like garage punk.
Yeah,
maybe. Probably the best.
Yeah, I think that would be accurate.
I think the MySpace 3 genre thing was the best way. Like anymore, you're losing attention probably. MySpace, you put 3 genres. I think that should give. So surf, garage punk.
Yeah, I think somewhere, and it's been a while since we've kind of tailored any of our. I don't know, media shit. But I think somewhere out there we've got like, or it was probably a poll quote from the Weekly or something. It was like kind of surfy, kind of fuzzy garage rock. I felt kind of.
For me, garage implies fuzz.
Right? Yeah, you think.
Like even that for a little bit, just like fuzz. I'm just kind of like, I get it. You're lo-fi garage, and you cover up tight playing with this reverb fuzzy sound. I get it. I've been to shows. I get it.
I wish I could remember, but it was
it's like stoner metal, but like how they cover up.
But yeah,
how punk covers up. Fuzzy. I'm just like, I get it.
Yeah, I get it. You're fuzzy. No, I think it was Jason Lee.
You're not the Bronx. I get it.
had one of our first weekly articles. He wrote something to the effect of. This is not an exact quote, but something like Mean Motor Scooter sounds like riding in an old Trans Am reeking to the headliner of skunk weed or something like that, which I was like, it kind of warmed my heart a little bit. I've always been a sucker for old Trans Ams and skunk weed. So. Yeah.
And if Fu Manchu's not like what you want to bang out at the moment. Like,
oh my God, I've been listening to so much fucking Fu Manchu lately.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Dude, they're fucking rad.
Yeah. King of the Road's still my favorite, but I've been like really diving into Action as Go lately.
I've never checked them out, but that's some old Caius. Like, oh yeah, that's some just like. If I don't want something too fast and riffy, I'm just like, I'll get some Fu Manchu.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just like Fu Manchu and Scenic Routes.
I don't know Scenic Routes.
No, I'm not literally taking a scenic route.
A scenic route.
I'm gonna go home, but I'm playing Fu Manchu.
Well, I'll tell you,
I don't need the highway right now.
I tried really hard to get into Fu Manchu a couple 5 years ago, and I listened to it. I was like, I don't know, it's just not for me. And then one day, I don't know, a couple years later, I'm a little stoned driving down the road or whatever, and I was like, gotta try it again. So I put on King of the Road, and I was working on like a pretty big local stoner rock band. So I was like, I'll do some research. And I put it on. I'm like, this is cool. I kind of get it, And then I was like, just reached over and just cranked the radio all the way up, and I was like, oh fuck, I get it, I get it.
I was like, oh, and I'm stoned. Oh, okay. It's all clicking.
Yeah, it all came together. I was like, oh man, it was such an aha moment.
Cannabinoids. Oh, that's what they're there.
And it's got to be so loud. It's
the
gotta
crunchy
be,
ribs.
It's got to be so loud, dude. That was the trick. But I've just been totally smitten ever since.
Oh hell yeah! So when was Rebecca introduced on keys, keyboards?
I think it was about 3 years, and we were doing pretty good, and we'd already had kind of like a label deal and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But Sammy had always wanted like a fourth member to kind of round it out, and we weren't sure if that was gonna be. I mean, we literally like talked about adding another guitar player. It just kind of seems obvious or whatever. We were talking about doing 2 drummers at one point.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, luckily, we dodged the bullet with that one. We did go so far. We tried a good buddy.
I'm sure sound guys, he'll love hearing.
Well, and that was kind of my thing. It's like, guys, like practicality, like, is this gonna work? But anyway, we tried out a drummer buddy of ours he's a very talented drummer. But it's just like I was like, this ain't gonna work, man. It's just from it's too much. But then so he's like, I don't know, maybe we find a keys player, and I was like, well, shit, I'm in I Happy Am. Rebecca plays keys. Maybe we can get her, and she was already like a really big fan of the band, so she jumped right on the opportunity, and she knocked it out of the park. We'd already recorded that entire Hindu Flying Machine record was done, pretty much mixed when she joined the band, so we brought her back in and recorded all of her parts on top of basically an already finished record.
Okay,
so yeah,
that's nice.
But
but you've been recording how long? But you've been like recording bands.
Yeah, for like
before being Motor Scooter.
Oh yeah, for like 12 years or so.
Oh, okay.
I've worked at a couple of like worked out of a couple of bigger studios around town. I was working out of the Track in Plano for a while.
Okay.
Not when I was there, but St. Vincent. I think she cut some of her early stuff there with John Congleton. And then no other real claims to fame, but it was a very fancy studio.
Okay.
And I worked out of a couple others. I interned at Robbie Baxter's place, Red Star, in Arlington, which he's moved now. Studio. I don't know if that studio is still going, but I just been doing that since.
Studios are very hidden locales, kind of like you could walk by like a music studio for years, and then someone's just kind of like they invite you or something. You're like, that was a music studio this entire fucking time.
Yeah, you've been to Cloudland. That's is this an AC supply house?
Yeah.
You open the door.
I guess if a place has like a big enough room they're not using, and I guess it can be outfitted, with the soundproofing and everything.
Part of it is too. I mean, I've got several $100,000 worth of gear in there that I don't want to just like have a giant neon sign.
Yes. Yeah. True. Oh man, that makes all the sense in the world.
Here, valuable shit here. Sometimes people aren't here. Valuable shit here.
It's like Pro Rehearsal in Dallas, where my buddies hang out. Like that's like 24/7. They got cameras and shit. So anything goes down, they can at least refer back to the tape.
Cameras and alarms and all that stuff too. But
I never even crossed my mind the monetary value of all the equipment.
Well, and I won't. I mean, those who know. But like Niles City has probably, I don't know. Probably, just a guess, I'm not for sure, between $1 and $2 million worth of equipment in there.
Yeah.
And I promise anybody listening to this podcast that lives in or around Fort Worth has walked within 5 feet of Niles City.
Wow.
I'll tell you where it is off the air.
Oh, okay.
If you don't know already. But I don't want to blow their spot up either. And although they also have cameras and alarm and all that good stuff too.
Oh yeah, so. I bet. Damn, just because it's like that, that's where the magic happens and everything. It's like I just don't think that for the longest time I never think about like, where was this shit recorded at? Whatever, it's on the CD now, who cares? Like, but no, these places exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a whole, I can only imagine like how maybe like how tedious it could be as well. Just like, no, cut, I fucked up, I gotta cut again. Just like, it ain't sexy. I can only imagine it.
It's not, but it's it has its fun, has its charm. But we do. I mean, I record pretty much everybody to 2-inch tape. You have to make like a really strong case for me to record you just exclusively digitally. And there's something fun about that. That a lot of the musicians get a little intimidated because they think it's like, oh my God, I have to get it perfect. It's like, well, I mean, eventually you do. You don't have to get it perfect the first time.
For the recording, you can play like shit the rest of, live all you want.
Yeah, and we can,
Nobody knows. I don't know, and I've seen a shit ton of bands. You really have to fuck up for me to Now, the older I get, the more I'm in tune to that. But
Yeah.
also, I know dick about music. So
Right.
if you fuck up,
Sure.
you really have to like, I don't know, like, you know,
Yeah.
sound very unlike music.
Yeah, I mean, I can promise, unless the musician is like just completely just blackout fucked up, like if they don't notice they messed up, like nobody else in the audience is gonna notice that they messed up.
Fuck that. Okay, no, I'm just gonna nail these next few chords.
Yeah, nah,
and
it goes. The live thing, it goes so fast. The recording's different because you can you hear it over and over again, and you can pick it apart. But yeah, live, nobody cares. Nobody notices. You have to really train wreck something for.
You have to knock over. You have to like literally. You have to break a string and just be like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
And I've seen people break strings and keep going. That's fine.
Sammy does it all the time. Yeah, he'd break the string and keep going.
Like and for me, the untrained ear, if you break one of those strings, I couldn't tell you what I'm missing.
Yeah, there'll be times where like I will, he'll break a string playing, and I won't even notice it until like a while in, and he'll stop and change it after that song. But I'll be like, oh yeah, it's crazy you broke the string in the second chorus of the song. He's like, dude, I broke the string on the intro of the song. I'm like, oh, well, fucking good on you.
Well played. Can we get some more beers up here?
Yes, please. Yeah, so it's fun.
I have had the opportunity, speaking of broken guitar strings, I was able, I did stand up. So I was seeing a couple bands, Mutoid Man,
Mm-hmm.
which,
I know them,
which has Stephen Brodsky of Cave In and the drummer of Converge,
Yeah.
just playing fucking ripping rock and roll metal. And opening for him was Helms Ali. This band's out of Seattle, and they play. It's like a spacey, thumping kind of Neurosis kind of sounding.
Okay.
It's badass. It's really badass.
Yeah.
And they played a song like during that set where my hair was standing up because the bass, just the sheer vibration of everything. I was just like, good God. So guitar player, he on one of his songs he broke a string, and there's a band. This was at the Curtain Club, and this guy's got one guitar. So he's like, fuck, I got to change the string. And luckily, I was there with my buddy Nick, who loves Helms Ali and Mutoid Man. So I have a witness to all this. So the guy breaks the strings. He's like, hey guys, sorry, I broke a string. I got to fix this because it's guitar, drums, and bass. And he's like, sorry, is there a comedian in the audience? And I was just like, and I'm sitting there and
This
like
is my shot,
me and
baby.
Nick look at each other. And also I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, well, I've wanted to hear these words before. And it's not like I have a set prepared. I can eventually remember some shit, but it's not like I have a set in mind. But also a part of me, there's always a small part of me is just like, what if something happens and they need a comedian? Like,
what if there's that rare fucking emergency?
And it fucking happened. And the guy asked if there's a comedian out there, and me and Nick look at each other, and he's just like, well, you gotta fucking do it. And what's great, like Mutoid Man has like a level of humor to him as well. Not so much Helms Ali, but a lot of people are there for Mutoid Man there, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. And I'm just sitting there, my hand goes up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a comedian. And they're like, all right, well, come up here. I'm just like, all right. I go up there, immediately plug my show. I was doing a show just down the street at Dallas Comedy House. Immediately plug that.
Smart move.
And because that helped me eventually get into some material. I did about, I don't know, like 10 or 12 minutes. It got to a point where I looked over and he had like.
His guitar's done.
Yeah, it's done. And he's just, but also I'm just kind of like, I was like, oh, you got done. He's like, I got done a couple minutes ago. He's like, no, man, I'm enjoying this. And so amazing. I think I pulled out like my regular opener, and then I made I'm not sure if I did this at your show, but I have a joke about merch tables. So if I have a joke for this is literally bands.
Yeah.
There's a merch table. Like if I have a joke, it's for this crowd literally at a music show doing an unexpected comedy set, and so like I did that because it's just as much as I would love for that to, and I can do the joke in front of a comedy crowd. They most of them know what a fucking merch table is.
Some of them will get it,
yeah. But so I did like 10 or 12 minutes of there, and then the band bought me a beer afterwards.
That's amazing.
Or that, or the promoter, or one of each or something. But we talked after the show, and then eventually I saw them again a little bit later when they actually opened up for Cave In and Russian Circles. at the Deep Elm Art Co. And it was like, hey guys, they're outside hanging out. Like literally, some of them were like doing some stretching. The basses. I think the drummer, she was doing like some stretching. Also the like very good band. The drummer is also my buddy told me she's also an oceanographer.
Oh,
so I was just
shit.
like,
Wow.
yeah, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, I follow her on Instagram. She's always posting like great, like cool pictures of sea shit and
playing sick
but
beats for sea turtles.
we walk up there. I'm just like, hey guys, not sure if you remember me, but last time you were in Dallas, I did stand up in your set with me. And they're like, oh hey, this guy's here. I'm like, well, of course I'm gonna come see y'all again.
I'm gonna roll the dice and hope
this
I
time
get-
you're with Cave In and Russian Circles. I'm like, of course I'm gonna fucking be here. And we hung out with them a little bit before they went on, and just like, oh, they're rad as hell.
That's so awesome. That's like, I don't know. You're like on a plane and somebody has a heart attack. And they're like, is there a doctor on the plane?
I was able to resuscitate the vibe, I guess, for the metal show.
Also, I mean, I can relate to that desires. I go out to like West Texas and stuff. Seeing just family, just as a civilian or whatever, seeing little country bands play or whatever, family reunions and stuff. I'm always like, oh man, I hope that bass player has a heart attack so I can jump up there and show these people what I could do. He never fucking does though.
They're always too stable.
Yeah.
It's like I don't get the acclaim anyway. Like I met me and Chris Donnelly, bartender at Lola's and Mass. I think he's still doing that. It's been a little bit since I've seen him.
Still at Mass as far as I know.
Yeah, me and him had this online feud for a little bit, a playful feud, where he just make fun of me because making fun of a comedian is just like, well, I gotta make fun of the guy that makes jokes. But then I went back at him about just making fun of bass players as much as I could, because that's the bait. Like they're kind of like a punchline of
course,
and that's not a secret. Like I learned that from like hell. There's a joke in Metalocalypse. Or they literally recording bass is like, we're just gonna tune it out. We're just gonna mix it out at the end anyway. I think that's what's kind of solidified. I was just like, oh, you make fun of the bass player.
You would think even as a bass player, I mean, I play guitar too, but even as a bass player, like recording bands and stuff, I'd be like way more cognizant of it and like, oh no, we're gonna make sure the bass is heard. Nah, man, this shit gets turned off. Y'all know who we're talking.
I feel bad for I don't mind criticizing music. I'm not like a professional, so I from a layman's perspective, I want to say I put enough money in for merch and albums where I think it's good maybe that people hear a perspective of someone that's just not in too deep.
Yeah.
Like, well, here, as your casual consumer of music, here's like basses for a lot of things. You don't notice it until it's gone.
Yeah.
If it's not there, you're like, where's the bass? But then when it's there, you're listening to the drums and vocals and guitar.
Yeah.
But unless it's like a prog metal album, to me, it's just like, what's this? Beam, beam, beam. I'm like, ew, that's unnecessary.
The project I was telling you about before we started recording, it's since gotten scrapped, but we recorded a full day of recording with the band. The bass player, laid her shit down, and it was good. The guitar player came back a couple weeks later with his guitar and an octave pedal, and then just re-recorded all of her bass with the guitar with an octave pedal tuned down an octave, and it sounded good.
Oh, see, I don't like being proven right.
Yeah.
I hate when I pull something out of my ass and say it. It's like, oh, I don't want to be vindicated. Like,
no, there's 2 or 3 bass players around town that really get it, and they know how to make their bass like sit in, sit in the pocket and fit in with the mix generally without me having to like, put a ton of effort and EQing and compressing the shit out of it to make it fit. There's some that get it and they know how to make it go. Shout out to Dick Richter. He's one of the good fellas.
Dick Richter?
Yeah, Aaron Richter
name.
from Bruce Magnus. He's he's a hell of a bass player, man. He's super good.
Also, like, and you obviously know when you obviously hear the bass when it's like, maybe just drums and bass, or just like a lot of punk songs, just like here's the bass riff, here's again like the bass chords of the song, but just the bass, and I'm just kind of like maybe that's part. It's like introing the song, or it's just like like a weird kind of maybe breakdowny part. Like that's when you can hear the bass as well.
Yeah.
When everything else kicks in, it's just kind of like where'd the bass go?
Well, I was working on a project the other day, some like kind of punks. I guess it would be fair to call it punk. Maybe I mean they might nitpick the genre a little bit, like I don't know, post-hardcore or something. But like I don't know, it's cool shit. You know, it's really good. But I'm listening to it and doing playback, and I'm like, I need to turn the bass up. And I'm like, keep turning it up, and nothing's happening. I mute it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's there, it's going away. It wasn't just like you're saying. It wasn't until I got to a part which is drums and bass. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the line. That's where he's at. So, but yeah, I mean, it didn't sound right without it, but it's also like there's no way for me to make it like.
I wonder if
stand on its own.
I wonder if Les Claypool, like everyone, I wonder if bass players are mad at him, just like, hey, what are you doing, man? You're making us look bad by making your whole thing amazing, crazy, weird bass shit.
Yeah, I think, I mean, a credit to, I can't remember the guitar player for Primus right now off the top of my head, but credit to him.
One of them's name's Tim, I think.
Yeah, I forget the other two members, but like they know where to be,
Well, they come in and fucking wail. Like,
he's like a little fighter jet swooping in and around, and like
perfect.
Yeah, he's everywhere Les isn't. If Les is playing a note up down here, he's up here, and then that trades just as often. But
last time I saw them live, I think my buddy was just like, yeah, they're original guitar players in here. I'm just like, oh, I've never thought about the guitar player Primus before. Yeah, like,
I didn't.
Claypool's thing, right?
I didn't know that they changed either.
I think maybe it was just for that tour. I don't know,
maybe.
But yeah, it was just that, and then.
Interesting.
It's like, I don't care. I want to see him play that weird one string bass thing that he does.
That's so funny.
That and I want to hear Southbound Pack of Dirt.
Yeah.
Bam, like, that's cool, man.
Fucking Lacquerhead for me. That's the
oh, dude, my
Anti-Pop's really good. I think that's a really
buddy
underrated.
bought me
record.
when I got my first car. He bought me some cassettes. He burned. What was the term before burned for a cassette? Copied, I guess.
Copied, I guess, or dubbed, maybe.
Yeah, he made one of those. Gave me Nevermind. Nevermind.
Classic.
I was like, okay, cool. And then got me a Best of Van Halen.
Okay.
And
Sailing the Seas of Cheese.
No, Antipop.
I didn't know they did that on cassette.
Yeah, and then
shit.
So yeah, I was listening to that. Just oh yeah, Lacquerhead's good. Antipop's great.
Ballad of Bodacious. Oh, that's such a great. That's a true story too.
And that's probably like I've had other Primus albums, but that was the first one I had, so it's the one I've listened to the most.
Yeah, Sailing the Seas of Cheese was my first one. That's the one Well, I don't know. I think Antipop probably took over on most listens. That was in my regular rotation in college. I listened to the shit out of that record.
Oh, they influenced a lot of bands for probably good and bad reasons.
Yeah, I mean probably more for worse, but I mean
I can do that. No, you can't.
No, it's just such a hard. Like even I've been playing bass for 25 years, and like I know a couple like little Primus licks, but like I'm never gonna be Les Claypool. So it's like I know I stay in my lane. I know where my lane is, but I watch these young kids that are like they struggle through it. I'm like, dude, it's just I'm sorry, like no, you're not there, and you're
not everyone's built like that.
Be there. Yeah.
Not everyone's the drummer of Meshuggah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's a virtuoso, and not to say don't try. If I can, try. I guess, but just don't make me listen to you try. That's my only thing. You try when you've got it perfect. Come out of the bedroom. I'll listen to it and judge it.
They're not here at this party, please, for the love of God.
Oh my God. I still can do if I had a bass in front of me, I can still do like the opening lick for Tommy the Cat, but that's about it. Or no, Jerry was a race car driver. Just kidding. Tommy the Cat's a little harder, but yeah.
Which was that was a Tony Hawk Pro Skater greatest hit.
That's
I think.
Right.
Yeah, wonderful.
Was it for the 64 version?
I think so.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Or I don't know if the 64 version had the capacity.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking the OG Xbox one then.
Something like that.
I don't remember. There's a
So I remember I was watching this. There's like a gaming historian channel. I was watching. They're going through like 64, but it's like it's like, or I think it was like maybe the history of Tony Hawk games, something like that. And it was like the 64 could have the processing power to do this stuff, but the sound chip at that time.
Yeah.
What I want to say, I could be completely wrong.
I have to be thinking of the Xbox because I've I transitioned from Nintendo to Xbox to now I continually buy new Xboxes, but I haven't played an Xbox in like 10 years. Just, but it had to have been the Xbox because I didn't have PlayStation or anything like that. But yeah, no, I remember it was, high fidelity music on there. So yeah, you must
Oh yeah, Xbox, PlayStation, just like CD music.
Yeah,
whatever.
it must have been that.
That's
because
where
I
music
remember
comes
all
from,
those. Yeah, all those tunes. Fuck, I don't want to go play that game.
It was so easy. It's so fun.
Oh my god, there's like 4 moves each of them could do.
I had one of them for GameCube. I think that was just. I just went home and played the fuck out of that all the time.
What do they hold up? I mean, I guess kids,
think so.
Kids
Like
are still buying them.
Yeah, they occasionally make a new one.
Yeah.
New soundtrack, new tricks. It's all about the skins. Because one of the big ones is like, Darth Maul.
That's right.
Whatever license, character they could get, just like slap it on there.
I think the OG Pro Skater, like, you could maybe change their shirts.
Yeah, I think you could occasionally.
Maybe change their shirts and hats or something like that. Or their deck. You can maybe change that too.
Their dicks just flopping? No.
Their
decks and their dicks.
Their dicks and their decks.
It's like Cyberpunk 2077, where you can literally pick their genitalia. I'm just like, oh no, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. You can give them the bulge that you want. I don't really know this, but skateboarders can fuck or something. Probably, I don't know.
Presumably, I'm too tall to skateboard.
Is it a height thing? I've given it one or two tries.
I feel like my center of gravity is like up here, to be a good skateboarder, it's got to be a lot closer to your deck.
Those fucking kids. That just like I rode a bike as a kid, and you think like this is the pinnacle of cool, and maybe you just don't know any skateboarders, or you're just not in like a skate. You don't live near a skate park. It's just not part of what you're doing, and then you meet some fucking kid that's just like, I can, they can kind of skate and everything, and then eventually you get around to one of those skate videos just comes through your circle of friends, and then you're just like watching those with Pennywise playing, and you're just like, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like kind of jumping over curbs in my stupid bike.
I tried to learn how to like skateboard in like, I don't know, the high school maybe. As a matter of fact, I still have my like OG Vans. I mowed the yard in them yesterday. The real thick ass Vans. Anyway, I was never good at skating, but my buddies were all like pretty decent at it. Like the buddies I met in high school, the ones I knew before that, none of them skated. So then I was just like, well, I have a camera and I can roll on this thing enough without falling down. So I'd just be the dude that filmed them doing that.
I always hated how in shape and skinny skateboarders just seem to be.
I'm just like, so much harder than you would think.
I'm like, well, I guess I'm just like jealous. I'm just like, you could do that. Why are you so in shape all the time? What do you drink, you eat the same bullshit we do. It's like, oh, maybe because you're outside, one, and then also like working out your core.
Yeah.
And also outside. And I was like, maybe I'm just not doing that enough.
Yeah.
I'm outside too, but I'm on my trampoline. Does that do anything?
Well,
no.
Trampoline does something certainly. But have you ever like dropped in on a little half pipe or anything like that?
No, never.
I stood up there one time, like
I'd expect to do that and immediately just fall back and just be like, nah.
I was just like, I was like, I know myself well enough. I was in college or whatever. I like looked down. I'm like, I'll just go back to filming, guys. I don't have what it takes. I'm sorry.
I've seen. One thing that's always again, I'll never step on a skateboard again. There's no point. But like over the years, you see a friend that's just like, they post a picture of like a swollen ankle or something. It's like, well, I'm 32. I should have known better than to step on the skateboard. Just,
oh my God.
I'm like, why'd you? No, like after like 20, probably don't. No,
if it wasn't something that you have maintained that entire time.
Like as a kid, I had some rollerblades, and I was like, okay. And I did that, and it's like,
did you take the 2 wheels out of the middle so that you could grind?
No. Never got that. Never got that fancy. I didn't know you could do that.
It was a thing.
I figured if you do that, you're gonna die probably. But it's like growing up, had a bicycle, rode that around a lot, and it's like, oh, rollerblades, do that a little bit, and it's just like, it's not as fun. There's like, what freedom is there with this? I'm still just kind of like, I can walk faster than this. This kind of sucks. And eventually, they go in the garage and collect dust. And like fast forward a few years, my sister still had a pair that were all right. And it's like summer break. I'm just watching ESPN because the X Games are on, and it's like doing rollerblading and all that shit. I'm just like, oh yeah, rollerblading was kind of fun. Completely forgetting that I didn't have fun rollerblading. It's like, oh man, this looks badass. Like, all right, it's summer. I'm on summer break. All right, so I went in the garage, found my sister's rollerblades, and put them on. So I was just like, all right. I was like, oh, okay, this feels good. They're a little snug. This is fine. And I go, and I'm like halfway up the driveway. Thankfully, I'm not all the way up the driveway. It wasn't that steep, but I'm like halfway down the driveway. I'm like, all right, gravity, do your thing. Let's see. And I go, completely fall on my ass, and immediately just start taking them off. I'm like, nope.
Was rollerblading fun or was being 15 fun? I guess that's
being 15. It's like,
that's
oh,
the
no, my
there.
time's better spent playing video games, going to the mall, going to the arcade, and talking to friends about possibly hitting on chicks. But I'm like, no, I don't need to. I don't need to rollerblade anymore. That time's over.
Yeah, I think it's well past for me too. I'll maybe hop on a bike, but no tricks, just transportation.
It's been so long since I've ridden a bike. Just don't know.
I used to ride around the neighborhood a lot, but then when we built this garage, I put my bikes in storage, and I haven't messed with them since. You know, it's just, I walk as fast to Magnolia as I can ride my bike.
Yeah. And then you have to store it, and like, I got to get a bike lock, maybe a chain or something. It's like, oh, god damn it, no.
Yeah, and they'll still steal it.
Yeah.
This is the bike stealing this neighborhood, I tell you. Dog losingest and bike stealingest.
Oh god. One day you're just gonna see a dog tied up to a bike, and it's just
it's like the dog stealing a bike. It's
where's the person? No, a dog riding a bike. That'd just be like, all right, this neighborhood is magical. What's going on here?
Ah, that would be great. We had there's this group of, this is unrelated, but I want to talk about it. There's this group of dudes in the neighborhood. We used to have like the Fairmount like parade, and I haven't done it the last couple of years, or at the very least I haven't gone. But they had the flying Elvises, and I did not know to expect this. I'm out there on the corner over here watching the parade go by, and fucking, I don't know, 25 Elvi, like in the full white jumpsuit, come ripping through on mini bikes.
Oh, okay.
And so they're doing tricks and stunts and stuff, and it was just magically hilarious. It was great.
Do they have a schedule?
I don't know.
I would love to go see that.
I really think, and I'm not positive about this, but I really think it's just like 20 dudes in the neighborhood that are all kind of buddies. They all have mini bikes, and they all have jumpsuits. Once a year, they get together and combine those three things. And that's it. They don't, other than that, that's it. I think I can't imagine. I'm trying to monetize everything I do. I can't imagine. I just can't even wrap my head around.
I had my Elvis phase. I got these mini bikes for some dumb reason.
Yeah,
let's
just go have some fun. And I'd be like, okay, boys, I booked us a show at at some festival. We're gonna do this. And I'd ruin it. I ruin everything like that. I can't have fun.
Do you book the shows? Or,
no, it's kind of a mix between all of us. Usually, like, we'll get like a message straight to the band page.
Oh, okay,
saying,
yeah.
But yeah, and then it depends. Sometimes people reach out to us, or every once in a while, like we'll talk and like, hey, we want to do a Halloween show. So then I'll hit up Alan and be like, hey, hold the place. We're going to do a Halloween show. As a matter of fact, we have a Halloween show coming up this year at Mass.
Oh, okay.
October 30th.
Are you gonna do? Is it like a rule you have to do like a cover thing, or
no? We're not going to do that. I mean, those are fun, but
I get how they're fun. I'm just kind of like.
It's honestly, it's super stressful for like us as a band, and Sammy's not huge on covers. It's not really his thing, and he doesn't listen to like. I mean, he's familiar with a pretty wide variety of music, but he doesn't listen to anything. Like everything he listens to is so like kind of esoteric and like hyper new that covering it wouldn't be meaningless. Everybody would just assume that they were original songs because it's something that most people haven't heard of. Yeah. He's pretty deep into the new music. And so, it's just not super appealing to him. We did the Ramones for Rock Assembly one year, and then like we did that same set one more time afterwards, and it was fun, but it was like still kind of a grind to learn all those songs.
Yeah. So you got to learn all these songs that will be used, like in this example, twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and it took us, like several months to get them down, and I don't know. I mean, I work probably a little faster than that, but it's still a grind.
I'd rather just like Halloween shows, just like play a show, have fun, but you're all in costumes.
Exactly.
Like why can't it just be that?
And I think that's what we're gonna do. Just I mean, if we've got a couple other bands,
but really good costumes.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out
Functional
how
is
to
we're playing, but
And that's the trick too, is always to find the costume where it's not like some just elaborate cosplay thing where I can't like
gorilla suit and you pass out 3
yeah,
songs in.
yeah, or some
That's
kind of
funny.
elaborate ass like comic book thing. I'm not into that, so I just kind of riffing here. But like, yeah, something where like I can't sit down all night, or if I do, I'm afraid I'm gonna like, tear my
Does this have a
tail
tail?
off. Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to strike that balance of also like looking like you're in costume, but then not. Like not having it be so crazy. Like I'm not trying to win a costume contest. I want people to acknowledge that I'm in a costume, and I want to
buy me drinks because I'm in a costume.
I want to be able to sit down and play my set. So I think I'm going to go as Magnum PI this year.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
I can get a tiger's hat, no problem. I grow a pretty mean mustache
And shorts and a button-up Hawaiian shirt.
Exactly.
So
the shortest shorts I can
your
find.
internal temperature would be fine. You're not gonna be, if you sweat, you're in the perfect stage outfit anyways.
Yeah, that's exactly my thinking.
You should get everybody in the band to do Magnum PI.
That would be pretty great.
So that way, just find 4 Tigers hats, 4 decently good mustaches, or grow your own.
Well, yeah, I can grow my own.
You can, yeah. You've got the remnants there, yeah.
I've had a pretty decent little.
Jeff, I don't.
He grows a good mustache.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little patchy. He's always making me grow a mustache because I think it's because his doesn't grow like he wants to.
He's living vicariously.
Yeah, but he gets he gets some like ferocious mutton chops. That's his specialty. He gets some like really lemmy ass.
And I can't picture
chops.
Sammy.
No, Sammy can grow facial hair.
Okay.
I think it's fair enough that it's not
Prominent. Yeah.
from far enough away to be worthwhile. But I think he's got some like French and Indian blood in him too.
Oh,
so I
okay.
think it comes in a
That's
little.
way like Anthony's the same way.
Yeah.
Where he can maybe kind of do a goatee.
Yeah.
And then just the facial hair just never.
Well, that's that. I can
fruition.
grow a mustache and a goatee, but like this shit right here between
Yeah.
my sideburns and it just doesn't fill in. Like I can't grow a beard. Plus, it's all going gray now. Nobody wants to see that.
I don't need more of that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's good enough on the side of my
Plus,
head.
plus the hats. I don't know if I've ever seen you without a hat.
It'd probably be pretty rare.
The thing about it now is just kind of like, yeah, don't ever be hatless around me. You might just walk right by me, and I might not say anything. It's like what I did when I cut my hair, and people were just like, wait, what? And this is like, oh yeah, I did that. But did you not follow me on social media when that happened? I got a lot of likes. I mean, come on.
It's kind of my signature move, which gets awkward at
Which
weddings.
did ruin your shirt of my face on it, which I guess I'll apologize
That's
for
fine.
cutting my hair. I don't think it's coming back. It's too much. It's been a year.
I get it. Mine was never as long as yours, but I rocked that long hair for a while.
It's been a year with that long hair, and I do not miss it.
It takes like 30 minutes less time to shower.
I can hop in the shower so quick.
That's great. The only bitch of it is that you're still beholden to go get your hair cut every X amount of time, whatever.
I've had 4 in the last year, which ain't bad.
Once a quarter.
Yeah. And
That's
eventually,
okay.
and I always like tempt myself because after a certain point when this grows out, I have what I call newscaster hair.
Yeah.
Which I really like. But if I want to maintain the newscaster hair, that just means more frequent haircuts.
Oh yeah, because you got.
And that's just.
I think.
And I'm a cheapskate, so I'm like,
I think the normal civilian fellas that keep the short hair, I think they're like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and I'm just like, are you insane? I'm
Yeah.
like, where do you? And my haircuts cost like $40-$50. So I go to a salon down the street just because I'm like,
Well,
I also get like a nice head massage in there, so I'm like, it's worth the money.
I go to Supercuts over here by Walmart, and it's still, I'm like, with tip and everything, I'm out the door $30 now. It used to be like $10 haircut, $5 tip, good to go. Now, it's fucking doubled.
So I'm like, if I'm getting 4 haircuts a year, I'll go to the place that literally massages my scalp for a moment, and maybe puts like a hot towel on my face because I'm like, okay, and I can at least assign a dollar amount to what's going on.
Well, I used to go to, because so one time I went when I was in Chicago, and I was for my cousin's wedding. I needed a haircut, like real bad, And so I found like this place called Floyd's 99. I was like, that sounds familiar. So I go there. It's very
Floyd Barber. There you go.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
It was very early in the morning. I was the only person in there, and it's Chicago. It's fucking, and I got a haircut and the massage and the hot towel and all that stuff. I thought, this is great. Like $40. That's about what I assumed I was gonna pay. So there's one here in Fort Worth, and yeah, I'm fucking naming names. So I go in there, and I've been there many times to get my haircut. The music is just fucking blaring, just so loud, just like they're just piping in all this like hip ass fucking punk rock music. There's always like a million people there, and it's just like you feel like you're kind of getting like rushed through and all that. And so
let me guess, your barber had tattoos on his hands.
Oh yeah, but so I will say there's one thing I've kind of picked up from going to fancy barbers, and something I want to implement too, is that anytime you see somebody with, or not maybe every time, but a lot of the time, where they've got like on their forearm.
If we're talking stereotypes, it's good enough. Yeah, no.
on their forearm,
it's simple pattern recognition.
They'll have a pair of scissors, like pair of shears on. So like I always feel like that's how I know that they're a good barber, because they like give a shit. Same as if you see somebody with a chef's knife tattooed on their forearm, you're like,
or the Kyle Kinane joke, or like a whisk on their neck.
Right, exactly. but yeah, so I always feel like that's a sign of somebody who like takes their profession seriously.
Yeah.
Or it's got too many tattoos. I don't know which, but I've been thinking about getting an XLR cable tattooed right here, so that people think I'm serious. But I'm also like, nobody's gonna know what that is.
I've met some comedians with microphone tattoos, and I'm
just like, I think that's different.
I'm like,
I don't know why.
Yeah, but
that feels different to me.
Like what? Good, bad? Please say bad. Thank you.
I don't feel like that's the same thing.
It's not the only thing. Because you have the stereotype of the comedy open mic flyer of just open mic at this bar at this time, empty stage, stool, microphone on a microphone stand. Like the microphone on a flyer is such a stereotype trope for comedy flyers.
Yeah.
To where it's relentlessly made fun of. But if it's just an open mic, it's kind of like make fun of it, but also like who gives a shit? It's an open mic.
Yeah.
And no one's, there's probably two people making money off this, and one was the bartender, and maybe the host was making money.
Right.
But I just don't think comedy is synonymous enough with just, because who else uses microphones? Oh, plenty, bands, singers, public speaking. It's an instrument, but like for you, it makes a lot of sense being a musician and a sound engineer, so that's pivotal to that. I'm like, yeah, we use a microphone to talk to people, but
it would like almost be like better served to have like a note card, like a bunch of note cards or something.
Or your notes, to just just have like a little notepad that's just like jokes and underline, and then like it's like blank.
A thought bubble with ha 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 in it.
But even then, that's also comedy doesn't really have a symbol like that because it's so fluid. Now, another, you got to wonder if for musicians, like music note tattoo, that it's basic as fuck, but at least it gets the point across.
That still like
which notes though?
That still kind of bothers me a little bit. What I have less of a problem with, and this maybe just because I have like a buddy who did this, but like he got like the circle of fifths tattooed on his forearm so that he can like use it as a reference. But if at that point in time, if you're like having that on there, then you probably don't need that on there. So I don't know. Yeah. But if it's something a little more like...
If it's specific, that's cool.
Yeah.
The more specific, the cooler it is.
Just like a couple of random fucking quarter notes though. I think that might be...
Like, even I know what that
is. Might be kind of akin to the comic with a microphone.
I won't name her, but this comic, she's a great lady. She has like I think it's like on her ankle, she has a microphone like in a holster. But I'm just kind of like... Yeah, but if like say you whip out the comedy like like a gunslinger, but also there's a time and a place for comedy, and it's not like in the middle of a conversation. Be naturally funny, yeah, of course, but it's.
But yeah, also I mean, does it not just look like a vibrator in a holster?
Probably.
Okay.
How'd you know the comedian I was referencing was a lesbian?
Because but
yeah, there's that's why I love making fun of tattoos, because one, it's they cost money, so I had a list of like 10 that I wanted to get, until you realize how expensive they are.
Yeah.
Especially one, let alone enough to cover a limb. Of like you look at the guy, like the first time you see a guy with like sleeves and you ask how much that cost, and they break it down for you, and you're just like, yeah, but I got car insurance payments, and I gotta maintain the car, and I have a car though, and it's like I easily justify not. I have one tattoo, and it's a cover up of another tattoo, and luckily I made
You have 2 tattoos.
Yeah, and I have a joke about all that and everything. They're just
Oh yeah, no,
they're just so expensive. And I could easily justify anything else, literally anything else than getting a tattoo, as cool as they are. And I get it, they are cool, but also I think the coolness of the tattoos are trending downwards because I see older and older people getting more and more tattoos.
Yeah.
And they're not ones they got like, oh, fuck it. I was in college summer of 82 and, I just got, no. These are fresh, recent, really good ones on old people. And also, it's just me, but I really hate when dudes have like tons of fucking tattoos. Like one sleeve, 2 sleeves.
Yeah.
And they don't listen to the music hard enough to justify those tattoos. And that's me coming up listening to punk and metal.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, those are the people with the sleeve tattoos or fucking bikers who probably, hopefully the really cool ones listen to plenty of punk and metal. That maybe, they're not deep into the scene and the subgenres, that other musicians are that have the sleeves. But when they don't, it's just kind of like, oh man, I fucking love Shinedown, and I'm just like,
gonna say,
oh god,
I got some bad news for you about bikers.
Oh yeah, they're not that.
They have cool taste in machinery, but not necessarily. In my experience, there's been a few. I've recorded a few fucking that are way into cool shit. I think it's a lot of Puddle of Mud and Shinedown though.
Yeah, I know, and I know it's a bubble I have that you are rightfully popping, but I just like to pretend that they're just like jamming to motor. They can name you every Motorhead song, and they're like, oh yeah, I know Zakk Wylde. I want to believe that they're maybe I know it's a lot of Motley Crue and shit like that.
Oh God, no, probably not even anymore.
Really?
No, I really think like Puddle of Mud and like Shinedown and like those kind of bands.
Kid Rock, like just
Kid
we're
Rock
trying to give
and
them the
some
benefit of the doubt because at least like my buddy Regas says he's like Shinedown puts on a great fucking show, and he's seen all.
I've seen. Oh God, I really loathe to admit this on a podcast. I have seen both Buckcherry and Nickelback on 2 separate occasions. Or each one a separate occasion, one each, in concert.
Oh, I've seen Creed live,
and I fucking love them. Oh my God, I heard an awesome story about Creed sort of the other day. Well, that kind of gives away the punchline. I'll tell you off air. Oh. That's not worthy of.
I have a Buckcherry video to show you off air.
Well, so what happened with Buckcherry? And because I feel like I really have to justify both of those concerts. So I'm going to take the 10 minutes it's going to take out of the 12 hours we have left.
Okay.
So Buckcherry, it was back when it was like CD Warehouse. I think there's a CD Warehouse in Plano, and I was just looking. I was fucking 16, like barely could drive, and I was out there looking for new music. I was finally, out from my parents' thumb, and I didn't have to listen to Steve Miller Band over and over again, which it's great. But
I saw him in Allen, Texas, with
story checks out.
With I think Peter Gabriel.
I believe you.
It was good. Terrible seats, great show though.
I'm sure, yeah.
Like literally, the seats were facing one way, and literally facing.
There's
like
no way
90 degrees away.
You played that much feel good music and not just put on a great show. I don't think you can do that. Anyway, so I found the first Buckcherry CD. It was sitting there, and it's the girl that's all it's like a render drawing or whatever. The girl that's all tattooed, and so I put it on, and the first song is like Lit Up. Which was not being played on the radio at the time. And so like I listened to it, and I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And then I think Lawless and Lulu was like the next track on there or something like that. So I got that record, and me and my buddies like spend it all the time. It was kind of the record of summer of '99 for us or whatever, or '98, something like that. It was fucking great. But then obviously they just progressively got worse. But so I saw them. they opened up for, it was Lenny Kravitz's American Woman tour.
Oh, okay.
And so it was Buck Cherry was the opening band. Smash Mouth was playing middle support. And then Lenny Kravitz touring American Woman. So I got tickets to that show.
Those first two played Sturgis last year. So you know.
I know. I got
Did you kind of want to go the way I kind of wanted to go?
I kind of wanted to go. In the same way I want to go to the gathering.
Pandemic.
I kind of wanted to go.
If I can find a way to blank out of existence for a few days, go up north.
But yeah, so anyway, Buck Cherry, I would love to say just played a fucking amazing concert, knocked it out of the park. Nah, but the guitar player was like so fucked up on heroin, he couldn't even stand up. He's leaning against his amp the entire time. The singer, I don't even know his name. He was also like
Mr. Cherry.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Cherry.
Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
Wow, maybe that's
probably it. But yeah, he was not so fucked up on heroin he couldn't perform, but he was fucked up enough on heroin that he performed poorly. So it was a bummer. The real winner of that show was Lenny Kravitz's drummer. She's awesome. But then Smash Mouth was just fucking fun, man.
Dude, Walking on the Sun is a great fucking tune.
It is.
It's got that killer organ in there, and it sucks. Like that's a great tune.
Yeah.
But obviously they'll be the all-star band forever, and have made a lot of money off that song.
And God bless them for it, man.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge.
Like I'm not knocking for it. I'm like it's not like a cover that they made a fuck ton of money off of, which is kind of like all right, but yeah, they're not bad. I couldn't name you any other Smash Mouth songs besides those two.
I think those are the two that I could name as well. But then so Nickelback, I run into them. I think it was like the early Napster days or whatever.
Okay.
And so it was when their first American release came out, which is like before like like How You Remind Me and Photograph and all that. So it was like the record before that. And I'd somehow gotten my hands on that, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I found out they had a Canadian release, like EP, came out before that. I got this, like, oh, this is really cool too. So they came through town. I saw them at fucking the Bronco Bowl small stage, not even like the proper Bronco Bowl, just like the side stage of the Bronco Bowl. And then Shackleford Brown, kind of local, kind of rock dudes opened up for him or whatever. That was a really good show. They put on a really entertaining show, and they had Pot Leaf on the kick drum, which appealed to
Nickelback did?
Yeah, that really appealed to my
I've never understood.
16-year-old.
Like I like that something as crazy as like this crazy amount of hate, this undue amount of hate, and not even like vile. I think a lot of it's joking, but then some like this shit, people shitting on Nickelback, but it's like what they didn't do anything to anybody.
No, they just did their thing.
There was like either a movie or TV show that had them. It was this like someone was in like an asylum type place, and like Nickelback was there. I couldn't for the life of you tell me what it was, but literally Nickelback's there, and I'm kind of paraphrasing that. It's like, what do we do? What do we do to people? Like we didn't do anything. We're just a rockin' Canadian band, and that's all they did.
I think the rub with them is it's their first, like I said, their first record was pretty good, and it was new at the time. But then that second record with like all those massive hits, those massive hits.
Don't forget the Spider-Man, which is Chad.
That's after that. This is even after that.
Yeah.
But with that I think Silver Side Up was like the one. I can't remember the one with Photograph on it or whatever, but I definitely own it. Fucking,
you're owning it right now.
Somebody, it was maybe Pugs and Kelly or somebody like it was to me it was like a local radio person or Russ Martin, R.I.P. I don't remember, but they took 3 of those songs and played them over top of each other, and you couldn't tell that it was 3 different songs happening.
Wow.
Because they just lined up like it was like the loud part and then the breakdown part and then the loud part and then the double chorus, and it just like pop, 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 pop. Everything was just like sat on top of each other. And that was like, the definition of formulaic music, and so that I think rightfully turned a lot of people off of it. But
I can see that, but also like that's especially for the time that they came out, and like, well, fuck it, you can find a dozen other bands doing the exact same thing.
Of course.
They're just not as
and
catchy or good or what they do.
I'll never like shit on somebody for their musical taste, because like whatever. I don't record everybody. I record.
Some people take it way too personally.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, fuck
I
you.
love
You're not enjoying music at that
point.
I
love if as long as it's all fun. It's so fun shitting on music and all that.
Of course.
But as long as at the end of the day, whoever you shit on, if you can still hang out with somebody and that's playing in the background, and you're not like meh, like you don't have like a shit look on your face because it literally is affecting you.
Yeah.
Then all right, that's what like music's important in many ways, but also it should not be important in many ways like that. It's just like I'm literally like my mood is souring because this is playing. It's just kind of like all right, and then you need to go.
I'm trying to think. The only thing that like. And I can power through it. The only thing that really gets me is kind of like the modern day bro country, like the real schlocky shit.
And it kind of has like a very diet hip hop beat to
it. Yeah, that stuff really bugs me.
Don't take a bam, no.
Yeah, that stuff really bugs me because I don't mind genre bending. I think that's kind of fun. Sometimes if well done.
Yeah.
But this is like. It's very clearly like they're taking the popular versions of these things, mashing them together, and then they're saying like, well, we have this built-in audience of, I don't know how many Trump voters there are, but 7 million. This built-in audience of 7 million people. So slap a fucking...
74 million.
Or 74 million, excuse me. 74
you forgot
million.
A digit there.
So slap a fucking... southern accent on this track, and boom, it's country, and we'll just feed it to all these people. And that bugs me because there's so much fucking good country being made.
Even modern and good, but I feel bad for modern good country that gets overshadowed and underplayed because of this, this terrible bro.
Exactly. Who's that?
Bro hop country.
Who's that band Midland or whatever? They're like on the. They're not on like the out. They're not on the alt country side of things. They're not like the drive-by truckers or something like that. They're just being really subversive in the genre of country, but they're straight ahead. I mean, I don't know if you heard in their tunes, but if they came out in the 90s,
I've heard of Fair to Midland.
It's a different band, different genre, but it's very like in the vein of Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson kind of 90s country,
which is what I grew up on.
Yeah, it's straight ahead, just 90s country. It's very nostalgic sounding to me, but like and they're doing quite well. But I feel like there's still like that other shit's kind of overshadowing. And then when they're superior musicians, and I don't know if they write their own songs, but. I don't know. It's less dumb than some of the shit that I'm hearing. But
the lyrics completely destroy songs. If you can hear the lyrics, that's what I feel bad for musicians that play shit where you can really hear the lyrics, because then sometimes I'm like, I hear it and it's too simplistic / dumb.
Yeah.
Or they're too like stereotypical. And just they don't feel like, I don't know, smarten it up or something like that. Get a thesaurus or something. That's why that's what I really liked about like a lot of the like hardcore metal I listen to that I think is really good, to where I can't even understand what they're saying, and then like I like what I'm hearing. I love it. I'll go see it live, where you definitely can't hear what anyone's fucking singing or screaming. Yeah. But then when I go back and look at the lyrics, I'm like, these are amazing lyrics. And I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just kind of like, all right, you guys are fucking amazing. Like, this is really good. But like, it's such, I guess growing up now, music's always been, for many decades, the lyrics are prominent and sung.
Yeah.
And you hear them, so they probably have to be good or good enough. And, and that's, 50s, 60s, 70s, that's what it was like. And then, hell, you could even understand Metallica.
Right,
but,
yeah.
But like when I see Mean Motor Scooter, I don't know what Sammy's screaming. Well, I just don't.
That's what I was about to say, is that when we're like learning the songs and stuff like that, like we all write our own parts and we work together. Sammy structures the songs for the most part, and obviously he writes all the lyrics. When we're playing, I never have any idea what he's saying. We go into the recording studio and I start recording him doing the vocals. And I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there, bud. Is that what you say this whole time? And he's like, yeah. I was like, fuck, that's really smart. He's like, thank you. Like, I wish other people could hear how smart you are.
That's what, like, I've always, part of me's always felt bad about punk and, the harder, heavier side of things. Well, hell, there's even like even seeing like a rock band, like, especially like live, you just don't know what the fuck they're saying, especially if it's a song you never heard.
Yeah.
So you don't know like what words they're kind of saying, unless it's specifically the music's curated to where you can hear it.
Right, yeah.
Besides that, seeing shit live, you don't know what the fuck they're saying. And hell, there's even like I've like watched. That's why I don't really like musicals, like plays that are musicals, because sometimes they're singing, and I'm like, oh man, I really have to pay attention to what they're singing. oh shit, because it's part of the narrative of the whole fucking play, and the plot is just like.
That drives me nuts.
At least with Book of Mormon, I'm just like, all right, this shit's fucking hilarious, and I'm into it, and that's just the
Book
type
of
of
Mormon
play
is like the one exception to that. Like, I'm not a big musical fan at all.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, tunes are catchy, whatever, but I always feel like it's so, and this is just me. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail for this. But no,
P.O. Box 6969, go fuck yourself, California.
Nice.
Even though we're in Texas.
No, I feel like a lot of the musicals, like the lyric is so fucking ham-fisted just because it has to tell this story. So it's like you're bending all these like words to try. And I don't have a good example. Don't ask me for an example. But just like there's such a you have to work so hard to tell a story and sing it at the same time. Yeah. I don't think it works 90% of the time.
It's like a lot of extra shit too. I'm like, it's hard enough to follow a play as is, because if you miss like a specific detail, like a pronoun or something,
and then you're boned, and then
eventually you're just like, why do they keep referring to Detroit? Because you missed one line about how that person grew up in Detroit or something like that, and you just don't know.
So okay, I was gonna say, so when I get to those episodes of The Simpsons where they did musicals, I almost always skip them. Oh, yeah. But then that made me think of the line where Moe is talking about. Bart says something about Detroit, and Moe goes, "Hey, leave Detroit alone. They're living in Mad Max times over there." So, anytime I think about Detroit, I always think about that. Leave Detroit alone. They're living in Mad Max times.
My buddy Mike Stanley, he's from Detroit, and one was like, I've seen him do like the intro joke. He's like, "I'm from Detroit, man. It is beautiful that the sun just hits the poverty at the right angle. It's so beautiful."
Oh, it's funny.
Love shitting on a place I've never been to. Oh, it's good. But that's one, like, going up and seeing punk bands and everything, I'm just like, man, I guess they're singing about what we're all thinking.
Probably.
And then you buy the album, and the lyrics aren't, like, in there. That's one thing that's always pissed me off when I buy an album, and I'm just kind of like, where are the fucking lyrics? Like, I can't even sing along unless I guess really hard, and I'm bad at guessing what lyrics could be.
We're super bad about that, and like by all accounts, really, you should like type up all your lyrics and put them in Bandcamp because it helps the algorithms and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so if somebody's like searching for some random snippet of a line, you'll pop up. You know, maybe they're looking for you, maybe they're not. Whatever. Anyway, but we're fucking terrible about that. I think I've done it for one of our songs, and it was like I listened the whole time back to like the isolated vocals. Like, okay, what is he saying? Because I didn't want to ask Sammy to write it down because he would have you know like remembered it slightly different than the way we recorded, and so then I'd have these lyrics up and somebody would be like, what? He says this and not that. And so we just leave it be. But that's something we really should do. You're supposed to now. That's part of the whole operating as a band thing.
That just always pisses me off.
I get it. Yeah.
I'm like, I bought the album so I could find out what the fuck you're saying about.
Yeah, I get it.
Are you political? Are you just being emotional? Is it poetic? Is it esoteric? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like the riffs, I guess. I'll just have to stick with that. And the cool art on the shirt. Yeah. I guess that's how we.
I would say most punk bands, like as long as they're not like pop punk, you can just I'd say with 100% certainty, you can assume that their songs fall into two categories. They're either like super political, or they're about some kind of like sci-fi thing. The band that I just recorded, all of their songs almost without fail were about like, you know, the political system being fucked up and, you know, natural punk things. And then
trailblazers,
huh? Real innovators. But then they also they have one of their badass songs. It's about Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
That's great. When we were mixing it, they weren't in the studio.
I think Blue Oyster Cult did that.
They did. This is very much taking the baton from Blue Oyster Cult and then making it punky. But
now give me an album each about a specific kaiju, and I'm impressed. But also, you have to read the lyrics to be like.
Well, so I'll give these guys credit because they say Gigan instead of Godzilla or whatever,
Yeah.
or at least they're.
Oh, I know 100% what Gigan is.
Yeah, they're in the thick of it. But we took.
I own the VHS of Godzilla versus Gigan.
We
and
took
the aliens in there turned to cockroaches. It was weird. It was a weird one.
But
and Godzilla and Anguirus kind of talk to each other. It's also kind of a weird one. That was the 70s Godzillas. Couldn't tell you the series title because there's it was like the Shohei series or genre, time frame. Yeah, 70s Godzilla was a little weird.
Well, so we took a clip from one of the. I don't know if it was that same movie or not. We took a sound clip from that with one of the overdub scientists talking about what they've created or what they're doing or whatever. But when we're mixing it, I just for like random shits and giggles, I told Rebecca to grab her phone and just pull up like a Godzilla fight scene from one of the 70s ones and just set it on the mixing board as we get to like kind of the epic part of the song, and then I filmed that from my phone or whatever. It's just like synced up so perfectly. You can put pretty much any punk music like with our like kind of hardcore music with the sufficient amount of like kind of a halftime like headbanging strobe lighty kind of rocking out parts at the end. Put that over any Godzilla fight scene and it's gonna sound and fucking look awesome.
Oh yeah, I believe you. Giant monsters fighting could only country might not feel right, but any kind of heavier music would just
any kind of heavier as long as the tempo's right. I think if it's too fast and too speedy, it might not work. But yeah, the right amount of slow, it's fucking awesome.
Or just go super on the nose and just play some Gojira to that.
There you go. That would be pretty on the nose.
Which I couldn't get into them at the beginning. They're fine now.
I can dig them. It's not my favorite.
It's like it's proggy, it's heavy.
I know Dustin.
I am Meshuggah for that.
Obsessed with them.
Yeah. But I've seen Meshuggah twice live, and that was the only band I'm just like, I need earplugs. And luckily, both times I was with my buddy who wears cargo pants all the time, and he's
full of earplugs. Just
exactly,
handful of earplugs in one pocket.
I'm like, you got earplugs, right?
Baked beans
there you go. I was like, I knew it. And I could still hear some people talking next to me. I'm just like, how is that possible? Actually, no, that was during High on Fire. Who was opening up for him. These guys in front of me were talking. I'm just like, I'm trying to see a really fucking loud, heavy band before the loudest, heaviest band. How am I hearing you talking 2 feet in front of me right now?
Dude, I saw recently there's like a post. It's like an old poster from, I don't know, like the early aughts or whatever. So old. But it was High on Fire opened. And then Clutch, and then Fu Manchu. Oh. It's like, man, I'd really like to have been at that show.
Oh, what a weed. A lot of weed smoke there. Okay, now that's probably what you're like, I don't need to bring weed, but then maybe everybody's just like, oh, we don't need to bring weed, it'll just be given to us.
It's just
nobody's high, and they're like, what's going on? We don't smell weed here.
At that point, the venue would just start passing it out.
Yeah. There's no weed smoke here, gentlemen. We'll reimburse you, but go disperse your own personal shit amongst the crowd. Okay, that's not what I signed up for security for, but whatever.
Whatever. Get it.
I've always been very hesitant to be the first guy. Oddly enough, to be the first guy to start smoking start smoking weed at a venue. But one time, and this is all credit to my buddy Philip. For big, we were going to a concert, and it was inside but big place, and so you could enough people around, you could probably get away with burning something.
Yeah,
it's not outside, which is a whole hell of a lot easier. But so we were just like, all right, it's like, dude, we rolled a couple of joints for this. Let's it was like, should we spark one? He's like, fuck it, I'm sparking it. And then so we were the first people at that Shins concert to start smoking weed. And then after us, I think some people were just kind of like, well, I got to smell it first. And then, someone's got to take the lead. And then I can, I'll follow through. And I think you're seeing something like the Shins. I think it's more of a timid audience.
Right.
It's kind of like,
oh, man. I hope my parents, I know for a fact my parents won't listen to this because they have never listened to anything I've ever done. That's a whole nother podcast. Anyways, for my 21st birthday, no. This is my fucking 19th birthday. My buddy Matt took me to go see the Black Crowes at Bronco Bowl. And this was like September 16th, 2001.
Okay.
The nation wasn't in great spirits. But we'd bought the tickets before the kerfuffle in New York.
Yeah.
So
That mishap.
So I don't even know how I did this because I didn't smoke cigarettes at the time. But I got a cigarette pack and I rolled like, I don't know, 15 joints or something like that.
Damn.
Put in there.
That's a lot.
I don't know. But so we get there and like,
And it's you and one other person.
me and one other person, and we were
Even 7.5 each would be excessive to most
even as
stoners.
fucking 18-year-old or 19-year-old, however old we were, the freshmen in college anyway. But so we get there. We're definitely not the first people to spark a doobie at a Black Crowes show. Yeah. So anyway, so we I busted them. I just give us each one, and we're fucking hitting them. And this is like 2001 weed, so we hadn't figured out that even popcorn was a thing. So it's still like,
oh my god, that shit's changed.
The game has changed.
Dude, you buy this popcorn stuff. It does it. It might have some seeds. It's not.
I like it.
You get some nugs that don't have seeds in there, man. It's like,
dude, I tell
you don't need you don't need an album or a shoebox lid to make the get the gravity to take hold of the seeds and just breaking it up.
Oh, dude, I watched somebody. I got so many tangents on this. I watched somebody grab a frisbee to roll a joint the other day, and and I'd forgotten completely. The frisbee's perfect because all the weed stays up high and all the seeds roll down to the bottom, but then they don't go everywhere. They collect in the bottom of the frisbee. And I was like, I haven't fucking seen that in 20 years. It blew my mind. It was so great.
I remember, I remember seeing the frisbee thing. Yeah, I preferred an LP, just because it's like music, weed. I'm gonna break this up, roll this on here. You got plenty of space to work with. Yeah. Plus, I don't know. I feel like it's complimentary to, especially if you pick the right album.
A frisbee can also be complimentary to the
oh yeah. I was never a frisbee weed head or frisbee golfer, which
I dabbled.
Dabbed. That's one thing when I found out frisbee golf. Like, one, you find out what it is, and it's like, oh, it exists, and it's just like, oh, well, like a couple of city parks have set up that it's easy, like here, set them up, and then. Like, that was something I'm like, I kind of want to know the genesis of that, of how frisbee golf is damn near synonymous with it's a pothead's activity. And I don't know exactly why the two, like, I've never, like, frisbee, before frisbee golf was just like, oh, you're at a park, someone throws a frisbee, and cool, we got some good throws, and then for me, like, half the time it goes way off to the side, and it's just like, fuck, somebody's got to go get it. Well, it's got to be the guy that threw it, that had a shitty throw. Mm-hmm. And then for a while, and some buddies that played ultimate frisbee.
I dabbled in that briefly too.
Anthony played that back in like high school, a little after that, and he was way into like more sports than I was. I played like a little bit, and I was like, okay, I can see that as being fun. And maybe a couple of those guys smoked weed, but that it wasn't like it was a fucking sport. It was damn near like flag football with frisbee. So it was you're playing a sport out in the field. You're burning as much calories as the guys playing soccer. Like, but then even casual frisbee toss at a beach. Never thought. I just don't know how weed and frisbee golf. Maybe it's because. I don't know, you're out in a park and you're not really surrounded by that many people and you're walking these vast distances. I don't know, maybe it's because you're outside in seclusion. I just don't get how the potheads kind of took it over.
Well, or did they invent it?
That could be it too.
That's what I'm wondering, if maybe they just straight up invented it.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, what outside activity can we do where we can also get away with smoking weed?
And then I do think you're on to something.
At a public park.
I think there is something to that because it is, you're so secluded, you're out there and, the third hole, it's fucking deep in the woods. We'll burn one down real quick out here. And
it's like an accuracy thing, so it's kind of like people playing darts and pool where it's like an accuracy thing, and those people, might be smoking cigarettes or something. So maybe it's kind of on that same wavelength.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, yeah. I think there's some
It's
meat
also
on
like
that
an
bone.
outside fun thing, and I'm like, yeah, I guess there are potheads out there that like being in nature, and it's like an easy way to get out there without going camping and
Right.
packing for all that. It's like, no, man, you just bring your frizzes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Is that the short? Is that a short-term phrase for frisbee?
You know, I'm not.
Frizzes? I don't know. Yeah, you chunk the frizz, and we have some.
I feel like they call them bees, right?
Burn a bone, chunk the frizz.
Chunk the frizz. Chunk the frizz and burn a bone.
I've done so much damage to the sport of frisbee golf.
Oh, they'll never recover from the slander.
I've lost the frisbee golf audience I was hoping to curate.
Oh my god! And then Innova driver just comes crashing through this window right now. Dead on hits the Zoom.
Wait, you said driver like the main frisbee? I forget. Like,
Oh, dude, you remember? Are you aware that there are different frisbees for different tasks?
I do. The fact that you said that made me remember. Oh wait, I do think at some point, the way someone was telling me, there are they're fucking golf clubs.
They are. They absolutely are. And so, I mean, I never got deep into it, but I enjoyed smoking pot as a teenager in early 20s. So obviously, there's an intersection between those two things. In Lubbock too, we had this really cool, this fucking amazing frisbee golf course. There was one of the holes was up on a 30-foot cliff that you threw it down over a pond to a fucking.
Okay.
It was a great place to get stoned.
But then you could lose the frizz.
Oh, you lose frisbees all the time. There was big money at I think Played Against Sports or whatever, and people that would go into the pond.
Oh, just
retrieve them and sell them Played Against Sports, and you go buy your frisbee back.
Spray it with some anything, and it's like, yeah, it's clean now, whatever.
Yeah,
and it's mine to
That's
resell.
all they do. But yeah, they're and I mean I'm not an expert on it, but as I remember from 20 years ago now, there's different tapers on the edges so that they turn or slice or go different ways, or some are heavier so they go further. The putters are more like a traditional frisbee with a fatter edge.
Oh, okay.
There's the whole thing to it. I remember I'm sure I know there's other brands, but Innova was the one brand that just jumped in my head right this minute.
Oh, okay.
So,
I live in Arlington, and Veterans Park has a course.
okay.
And so there's you have the Veterans Park, and you have a street, and then across the street is little place things like a gas station, a couple of a laundromat, and just a little place there. It looks like it's almost a secret, but it faces the street.
Mm-hmm.
You have the convenience store, and then on the back end of the convenience store, facing the direction of Veterans Park, is a frisbee golf merch store, where you can buy frisbees.
Fucking geniuses.
And I'm like, no, it's perfect, because I'm like, well, it's right there. I'm sure some idiot was just oh, I don't know where to buy my shit, and gas pipes so far away. I'm head shop. I think that's probably where I found out about it. You're at a head shop.
Yeah.
And it's obviously I buy pipes and bongs and papers and tobacco and all that, and it's there's the shirts. You can buy darts, because that's
I feel like that's I don't.
You see frisbees.
I feel like that's not a thing at head shops anymore. I just went to go buy a new pipe the other day, and I wasn't looking for it, but I feel like it's really pared down to just pipes and bongs and other getting fucked up accoutrement, and not so much activities while you're fucked up.
Your gateway activity.
I definitely remember what you're talking about. You used to be able to buy even clothing and stuff. It was hemp made fucking purses or
hacky sacks.
Because
that was if you have anything, if anything's synonymous with potheads, it's hacky sack.
Yeah,
hacky sack.
we had this in Lubbock. We had this really cool it was a kind of catch-all store called Buffalo Brothers, I think. And it was had bongs and pipes and all that shit. You couldn't call them bongs. You could call them water pipes. Because fuck you. Why?
My buddy we got kicked out of a head shop because he didn't know. I knew, but I thought he knew, so I didn't tell him before we would go in there. And there was two women that worked there that looked like your 50-year-old aunt that is just maybe a bitch.
Sure.
It was just kind of all right, who are these ladies working here? And then so I'm sitting there, I'm kind of near the front of the store looking at whatever, and I hear there's nobody in the store, and I hear him. He's like, yeah, I'm just looking around. Maybe want to check out one of those bongs. And they're like, sir, you can't. It's you can't. I think they're you can't say that. And he was just he didn't know. He thought
I can't say bong.
He thought they were fucking with him. He goes, oh, okay, whatever. He goes, no, seriously, let me check out that bong ski. And I'm so I go there. I'm hey, Larry, you can't say, let's just go and everything. And she was kind of like, being a huge bitch to him about it. But I'm like, but also completely different instance. I'm at, I think it was a different friend at like a gas pipe, and he says bong, drops the B word. And the guy was like, oh, hey, man, you can't call him. And he goes, it's like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh, it's all good, dude. I've done it before, too. I'm like, that's all you got to do. You're working at a fucking head shop. Like,
why? Fucking why?
There's no good explanation.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, and so, how does, okay, fucking, let's reverse engineer. I never worked at a head shop. I just spent a lot of time at them. But let's reverse engineer that. So, like, I'm a cop, and I walk into a head shop. I'm like, let me get a bong. And the lady's like, here is this, let's assume it's a lady. Here's this fresh water pipe. It's never been used. It doesn't have anything tying it to being illegal. But you asked for a bong, and I handed you this. Now I'm under arrest? Did that happen?
It's literally wrong speak. Like, you called the thing the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's like
Which makes no sense.
If I go to a car dealership or something, I'm probably painting myself in a corner with this example. But I'm like, let me my glove box isn't working. And they're like, what the fuck did you just call it?
Sir, gloves are illegal in this country.
Yeah, you cannot call it that. That is a word that criminals use.
God, yeah, and it's like, if you think like marijuana being legal is like one of the dumbest things we could do, it's just like, oh no, we can go way fucking dumber.
Oh yeah,
you can't call this bong a bong. It's just like, so I have to call it.
I feel like there was a couple other
2 words and a couple extra syllables. Like, okay, but I'm gonna default call it a bong. It's like, well, if you do that, you might get this person into trouble.
And so where's the line? Like, if I call it like a binger.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a bung. I meant a bung.
Yeah,
like in a barrel, a bung hole. Like,
well, and it's like, why can I?
No, I said bong. The O with the two dots on the top.
And can I not say the term head shop? Like,
yeah,
is that verboten?
Like,
yeah, but I feel like weren't there some other like, and I don't think that these rules still apply, because I definitely have heard a dude at the gas pipe, working at the gas pipe, call it a bong.
I think
like, this bong rips fucking hard. You can get stoned off your tits on it.
I definitely think it was like a thing to be concerned about in the early 2000s.
That's what I feel like too.
Where, I don't know, they were just really
kids today will never know.
Yeah, right.
The struggle of getting kicked out of a head shop for using a word.
And we're sitting there like watching states legalize it. We have friends that can literally walk to a store and buy weed, and we're just kind of like, oh, thank God, Dallas is not arresting. They're giving out tickets for possession. Oh, cool. That's our progress. That's their progress. But yeah, these kids are not going to know. Hey, when you're at a head shop, you couldn't call a bong a bong.
Yeah, well, so I mean, I feel like there was a couple other like no-go words in there too, but I can't remember them now.
Probably couldn't say straight up like weed or marijuana, or probably I would say like that.
I feel like that was a safe bet.
Because they always say, oh, you put your tobacco in here. It's just like, yeah, I got it. Mm.
Yeah, got it.
Also,
because they sell so much loose leaf tobacco everywhere.
But also, you could, at a brief time, you could buy fucking salvia there. Which I did, and that was just.
I did too. It's so stupid.
Oh, my friends gave me a gift certificate to Gas Pipe for my birthday. So I go in there. I'm like, I've never tried salvia before, but I got the shit to smoke it in. And
water pipe.
And I was like, give me the strongest salvia you have. And so I did, and it came in like something like the size of like 5 pogs.
Was it like the?
And you could just pop it open.
There's a reference for a size reference that nobody over or nobody under a certain age is gonna get.
Well, what do you want to do? Silver dollars? They're not gonna get that.
Okay,
yeah, but I'm like,
fair enough, I don't know.
That was the like amount, but the strength was super high. And then
was it like the concentrate? What was like the consistency?
Yeah,
of
it said like 80x or something like that. There was like,
was it like
20, 40, and 80?
Like tarry, or was it still leaves?
Still just dried leaves, salvia leaves, and it was the few times I smoked it was some of the worst experiences of my life.
It's so dumb. When it first came out, I tried it a little bit, and it's like and this probably wasn't the 80x or whatever, but it was like the most experience I had was just like, oh my God, is that a helicopter behind me?
See, I I wish my shit was that simple. I literally fused into inanimate objects. And the best way I can describe it is that my entire world, the universe, to me. Okay, so like we're in 3D or throw in time 4D reality or whatnot, where you have I'm putting my hand towards you. There's a depth perception you can perceive of.
Sure.
And this is very obvious shit. We're just applying words to it. So the salvia I had, you smoked it. And then afterwards, like you do, like you hold it in, and then shit starts to vibrate. And like when you're trapped in this fucking hell, and not like fire shit's going on. It's a very unique, stressful, like how a dream, how dreams are just like nonsensical, but they're based in a reality you can comprehend, but they're nonsensical and you have very little control over things. So the salvia I had, it's like we're in this room that we're in now, but the way I look at it, and I don't know how, there's no reason why. So the texture of a Twister mat, you're playing Twister,
okay,
and it's got this like very light foam padding. I don't know why, like in my head it's just like Twister mat, but but imagine like me looking you here now, these white walls behind you, and but imagine like a piece of paper that is the texture of a Twister mat dropped down in front of me, but it was like a photo of you on that. So it's like I was looking at you and looking at a 2D version of reality. Like I couldn't reach into, but what I was looking at was like a picture that was put on a thing like a Twister mat, and I couldn't react with anything. Because also I'm on salvia and I don't know how to use my hands at the moment because I'm also fused into this futon and into the wall. That was one experience. And it's just so frustrating. And like I was there with friends every time I did it, and I'm looking at them, and I can't vocalize anything, and I'm getting very angry at them because I'm obviously in distress right now. My entire world's collapsing in on itself, kind of like Doctor Strange, where they're fucking flying around and they're in the weird thing and manipulating entire buildings and cities. It's kind of that feeling, but not that eventful. But I'm like, you guys realize that I'm going through some shit right now and you're not helping me, but they don't know because you're just. And I see other friends do salvia. I'm just like, they're fucked up right now. This is funny to watch. And I'm like, yeah, you do that. You do that, and like, because you can't help them. But on the other side, you're just kind of like, help me, asshole. Tell me it's going to be okay.
That's so funny.
But they don't know that's what you're screaming inside your head. And it's very stressful. And I was just like, eventually, like, I had a friend did it, and he was not primed to do anything that fucked up. And he kind of did like a somersault off this couch. And luckily, me and my buddy were there, and we kind of like sprung into action. Luckily, he did not hit the corner of his like marble coffee table. Jesus, that could have been bad, but like I think I put my hand over there. It was me and Greg. Oh, and so we see our buddy Zach do it, and we're just like, oh, he's flipping the fuck out. And so Greg's kind of like, bigger than me, so he's kind of like got him pinned down a little bit, and I like make sure he doesn't, make any frantic movements and start gushing blood from his head or anything. So I'm like, I cover that. He pins him down. I'm just like, it's okay. It'll be gone. It'll be gone in like, just give it some time. Yeah. You'll be back to normal.
Oh my God. Jesus.
It's almost like salvia is just kind of like, I went through this, so you must too.
It's like a shot of Malort. Yeah.
Oh, I brought that up the other day. Oh, liquefied rubber bands.
Oh man.
Is that how you describe it?
No, I describe it as lawn clippings soaked in kerosene.
Huh. Okay.
This has got that earthy kind of flavor to it.
I immediately go to rubber bands. It's like the way like you open up a bag of rubber bands.
Yeah, I know that smell. Yeah,
and I feel like they got that color, your basic rubber band tan, and just boiled them down into a liquid and converted it into alcohol.
There's a strong chance we're both right.
Okay.
They do just liquefy rubber bands for some of them, and then for some of them they just soak lawn clippings in kerosene.
Oh. So there's these comics. I ran a show in Denton that they would make us do not make, but I always did because I'm like, I'll try something new. They're like, we before the show we just shot some Allure, and I was just like, yeah, I'll try anything. And I was just like, what is wrong with you guys? I'm like, is this a Denton thing? Do you guys really, are you that spoiled to where you're just like, it's fun to do awful shots of liqueur?
So it's the first time I've heard about it for forever. This band we played with one time, Archie Powell and the Exports, they had a song that's very big in Chicago. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's all about Jeb Sims Malort.
That's right. It's from Chicago.
Yeah. And so I've always been fascinated with it and I always wanted it. And Susie, when she went to Chicago, I was like, bring me back a bottle of Malort. And she's like, I looked everywhere and they didn't have it. I know you're lying,
Apparently
Susie.
it's a joke they're playing on the rest of the country.
I know you're lying. Anyway, so we had it at it's a bar in Dallas. I think it's Trade Wind Social Club. Since closed down.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, they had it because they were a Chicago bar, I guess. So they
okay.
would play Cubs games or White Sox. I don't know, whatever. They play Chicago sports. But anyway, they had it, so I was like, oh fuck, we got to try it. So the whole band did it, and I figured out that the first shot is terrible. The second shot is better than the first, and the third shot is worse than the first.
Whoa,
that's my Malort theory.
Huh.
But also there's another, like, Malort's kind of sister. I don't know if you've ever had Fernet Branca.
No.
It's also a floral spirit, I guess. I've heard it described as tasting like coffin juice.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a little better. It's different, but it's a little better than Malort, I think. But there's a bar in San Antonio that we played at right before the pandemic that they would do Frolort shots. So it's half Malort, half Fernet Branca. And they were out of the Malort at the time, but they had the Fernet, so we just did shots of Fernet, which is, I don't know. I still want to try a Frolort, but...
Why? Is there just not enough? You don't have enough going on, Joe?
I like shitty...
There's plenty of shitty local alcohols.
I'm a very big fan of regional hooch. Like, I mean, I'll try it. Give me your grossest fucking Rocca, and I will drink it. And I'm a very big fan of shitty regional beers. Like, my grandpa drank Olympia his entire life.
Olympia? I don't think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's from the Northwest.
Oh wow, okay.
So like Olympia and Rainier, those are like my beer. My beers. If I could buy Pearl still in the Metroplex, that's what I would drink.
I don't think I've heard of Pearl.
It's a Texas beer that's of that kind of low caliber of just drink a day beer.
Okay, but not your fancy like craft brewery.
No. And I can appreciate
we really
that stuff.
put love,
in the same
here's
way,
our Instagram of when we made it.
In the same way that I can appreciate jazz, I'm like, that's good. It took a lot of talent. I love it. It's great. I'm glad you're making it. But I like Fu Manchu. I'm gonna get drunk with cheap beer.
I smoke weed. Give me some Pearl.
I mean, I'm sure that you've got 20,000 fucking whatever those bitter units that they measure beer by are, and that's IBUs or whatever, international.
I was about to say BTU.
I was thinking BTU. I was like, is it British thermal? No.
Yeah, that's British thermal.
But I get it, and I like it, and I won't begrudge anybody that. But at the end of the day, just give me a fucking Lone Star, man. That's what I need.
But if you do get booked at a brewery, you'll play and take the free beers that come with it.
We've played RAR before, and my favorite beer from RAR was their Adios Pantalones, which is just like a
I like
basic
that,
bitch Mexican lager.
I prefer the Texas Red. I like, and
this is getting a little too fancy for me, man.
I like an amber. That's only beers. Me and a girl called Amber.
My sister's name's Amber, actually.
There you go. Never met her. That is a stigmatized girl's name, though.
It is.
That Crystal, Courtney, Amber. You're just like, because it's like, you're crazy and or stripper, and it's just like, there's plenty of those. It's like the Chads, like Chad,
of course,
and any of your modern, like, what's funny is your modern like super white names are also yes, that's there are some though that are also like, you probably did play select baseball and maybe you might be a pro like Colton. Yeah, there's plenty of those. I met a guy the other day. I looked at his ID. I was just like, "I got. Do you ever play baseball?" And he was just like, "It's not like his name was familiar. He just had a fucking baseball ass name." And he was just like, "No." I was just like, "You seem like a baseball player." I'm like, and for context, DFW pumps out some baseball players in the world, but yeah. Your Braylons, I don't think I've made that yet, but there's definitely like Colt. Yeah. Just Colt or Colton. That's in there. And
it's definitely a baseball player's name. But, my sister Amber, she has her husband's he played, my sister played soccer in college, and her husband also played soccer in college, but I think they're kind of steering the kids maybe towards baseball. So her youngest son, he's like my daughter's age, so she's like 18 months or less, but his name is Colt. So Colt Crow, like, yeah, you're gonna play baseball.
Oh God, yeah.
He's gonna play baseball or pedal steel. I don't know.
Could be both. And then Eric Nadell can talk about it.
There you go.
This prospect's actually in a band I've seen a few times before at the Kessler Theater.
It's a fucking wicked pedal steel, and he can knock the shit out of high outside fastball.
Yeah, you can hit a breaking ball too. All right, man. I'm gonna wrap this shit up, I guess.
All right. Well, I can bullshit with you forever. So.
No, yeah, we can do that. We just don't need to record all of it. That's fine. Some things are best not recorded.
Yeah.
And although I do I want to I get why a podcast might do that, but I also fucking hate when a podcast is like, oh, they get the person talking is just kind of like they get close to something they realize they shouldn't say, and they're like, but they get too close, and it's just kind of like, oh, what the fuck are you gonna say, man? Drop the name, and it's just like,
dude, I
don't mind them saying oh, that's a story I can't get into, because they didn't tease you, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, or you see that in private life where it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you can't tell anybody, it's like, got it, but I hate when they get too specific, but not specific enough, and they're like,
Dude, there's this engineering podcast I listen to called Gear Club. It's John Agnello, who he did a bunch of Sonic Youth and Dinosaur Jr. records. Oh. And he's a very big famous producer. And then Stuart Lerman, who is also a pretty big producer, but he does a lot more music for TV shows. He was on the what's that fucking something Boulevard show, the 1920s.
Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk Empire. So close.
I've seen that. Really good.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah, he does a lot of the music for that.
I was about to say, you mean Queens Boulevard, the movie Vincent Chase was in Entourage? But
no.
That's a movie within a TV show, and that's not what you were talking about. I just know this information.
But, so they had this guest on who, I can't remember his name, but he did Led Zeppelin 3 and bunch of ZZ Top records, and he was talking shit about a producer, or maybe it was another dude, and so he's like, yeah, and blah blah blah, did this, and it said his name, but so then they you hear a where they reversed it out, and I was like, well, I don't fucking work in a recording studio, so I just took my phone and jacked it into into my my system, recorded it into Pro Tools, and then reversed it. Oh. And I'm sitting there, and Rebecca was with me when we were doing this. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna get this motherfucker's name, and it just goes, Paul is dead. And so the dude who recorded the podcast went back and just did that fucking Paul is dead from the Beatles, right? Or whatever.
Wow.
Reversed it, threw it over there. So it's a joke for...
That's so good.
Me, I guess?
Yeah. No, that's the best shit.
Oh my God. It was...
that is amazing.
I can't remember what the other... It was Paul is dead, and then we miss him.
Because they know their audience. That's the thing. Because it's I'm not going to stumble upon that. I'm probably not going to listen to it just because I'm I don't...
Yeah.
I never got that far down the liner notes. If I knew someone the guitarist of Converge, I just happen to know he records a lot of bands that I like, but also because he's also a musician in a band.
Yeah.
But oh man, it was awesome.
I mean, just because I was there was part of me that knew that there's no way these guys who were professional
would let that slip.
Of course not.
Oh yeah.
But I've done that before.
They already knew what they're doing before they started a podcast.
Yeah,
which is all right, that's easy.
But when I was recording the Funky Town podcast, there'd be times where somebody's like, I want that name bleeped, and I'm just lazy, so I just highlight that name and then hit reverse, And as long as it's not something real basic like Joe, you know, like you can't tell, you know, like, and so it's fine. And, you know, nobody thought anything of it. So I thought that they were just being lazy like me, but no, they actually took the fucking effort. And as soon as I heard Paul is dead, I was like, God damn it. So, but yeah.
I would have messaged him.
I did.
Like, did you just be like, Paul is dead or something?
They have an Instagram post where it's like, you know, like this week's episode or this month's episode or whatever. And so there's like 2 other engineers commenting on there. Oh, great episode, great stories. And so I wrote, it's like, great episode, Paul is dead, with like the winky emoji or whatever.
Nice. Oh, that's so good. Damn it.
I know. But yeah, fuck it, you can do it. I mean, it's a popular podcast among audio engineers, which is a ponytail-clad group of folks. I don't think you got to worry about like getting all up in your shit. So.
Well, if there it gets to that, then that person will. What I'll do if I ever come across something like that, I'll be like, well, I don't know. I barely know what I'm doing. I do literally so few steps to get this from here to on the internet. I'll be like, what we can do is you can Venmo my buddy Joe Tacke, and I'll send the wave or MP3, however, I'll send it both. I'll send the wave. I'll send the file to him. Yeah, he can fix your fuck up. He can help you not destroy your life, or you can pay me just to not release the episode. These are your options. Joe's probably cheaper. I can still upload this. But
something like that. Fucking, as long as you got the time mark, give me $20.
You never know. As long if I'm with somebody and we're comfortable enough, and I bring enough beers or whatnot, they get a little too loose lips.
We could run a whole scam, man. Just start getting these guys drunk enough to
and then we can blackmail them.
Talking out of school and be like, oh well, it's recorded.
Like, that's how blackmail works. Oh, okay.
Oh, I get it.
You won't do good.
I always thought it involved.
Do you want a woman too? We have some women.
The old honey pot.
Like, that's the way the big boys do it. Oh, okay. We don't need to do that. But until then, until we have our excellent blackmail scheme going on, until then, you can see Joe and you can have him record your bands.
I would love to record your band.
So wait, you're not a producer. There's engineers and producers. I don't know the difference.
There used to be a more distinct difference between the two things. But so an engineer just knows how to run the equipment and run it well, and like where to put microphones and achieve the sound that's desired. Yeah. A producer goes, hey, wouldn't it be better if you played this chorus halftime?
They fuck with the song
or like,
structure.
Yeah, what if we added what if we added a horn section here? So they mess with arrangements, general sound, and all that. Nowadays, it's pretty common to be both engineer and producer. Back in the day, those would be 2 very distinct jobs.
Like Phil Spector was the producer.
Yeah, he was a producer.
I saw a thing about him and just kind of like.
And he would, Phil Spector knew enough, like he knew his way around the studio to be an engineer, but he was at the point where he had somebody else doing the kind of the grunty work while he's writing out charts and
engineer, way more technical. Producer, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're both.
I figured I'd ask a professional.
Yeah, and so that's what it is nowadays. You just kind of wear both hats for the most part, and then there will be bands that I record, and then they're like, I want it to be this way, I want it to be this way, I want it to be this way, and I record it, and I'm just the engineer, and the credit just says engineered by. But then there's other bands that were like, how would you do this, and what do you think we should do here? And then I'll say, okay, well, I think we should add a horn section here, and I think we should cut this, this line out here, and this, and then I'm a producer. But yeah.
So you just force every band to be a ska band. I would do the same.
Pretty much, yeah.
You ever thought about adding a horn section? We're a death metal band, but have you thought about adding a horn section?
What are your thoughts on picking things up? What if right here you just said pick it up like 3 times really fast? Have you thought about that?
Guys, I've been positive about things. I don't know. It's kind of fun. Might sell some records. You guys are a little doom and gloomy. Well, we're a doom band. What do you expect? Have you thought about adding a horn section? Cut that solo in 2 parts in the horn section.
There you go. You're well on your way to being a producer.
I don't know. All right, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been. It's been fun.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Check out other episodes of the podcast. I do those too. And future ones, as long as I care.
Check out the future.
Thank you. Yeah, check out the future, guys. It's awesome.